I have with me today Mr. Abdulla Shahid. He is the Foreign Minister of Maldives and also the first ever UNGA President from the island nation. Welcome to ThePrint, and thank you for talking to us.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. So, let me first ask you what makes you, you've been consistently visiting India, but this time what was the agenda? I understand you had some very important meetings. You met the Vice President. You also met External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. So if you can give us some outlook on that.
Well, I'm reaching the end of my term as President of the UN General Assembly. It is only proper that I come to India, meet the leadership, express my gratitude to the support that they have given me during this 1 year of presidency. The support which has been outstanding. My work at the General Assembly has been greatly assisted by the support of India, who is also a member of the Security Council during this year, and also deputed one of your best diplomats, Ambassador Naidu, to be my chef de cabinet. So I wanted to visit, thank the leadership for their commitment to multilateralism.
Well, interestingly, at a time when the world was witnessing a war, also there was this Afghanistan where Taliban came back. Your presidency came at a time when there were so many challenges, not just in India but around the world. What are some of the important achievements that you've had at the UNGA, and do you think that going forward, when we are hearing so much about the fact that the world is going to see more volatility, is the UN really geared up for facing those challenges?
Well, I came in promising a presidency of hope. My presidency was built on the theme of hope. And the 5 rays of hope, recovering from COVID-19, responding to the needs of the planet, rebuilding sustainably, respecting the rights of all, and reforming the United Nations. Now, these 5 rays of hope were brought in because I believed that it is a time of huge challenges. Last 2 years has been a time of death, devastation and despair. So it is only through hope that we can rise above these challenges. I have been able to work with the entire 193 member countries in spite of these great challenges. Yes, I stepped into the presidency during COVID-19. I have been able to bring back in-person diplomacy at the United Nations. We are back to a very normal degree of work at the United Nations headquarters. But yes, there are more conflicts, there are more instances of crisis. But that further highlights the need for us to strengthen multilateralism, to increase confidence in multilateralism, and to increase credibility in multilateralism. That can be brought out by believing and working together.
So what about inclusivity? That is something that India has been consistently talking about, that the UN should have a broader vision and it should have more voice from the developing countries. Is that discourse still being taken up at the UN?
Since 1945, since the founding of the United Nations, we have seen huge changes. Geopolitical nature of the world has completely changed. The United Nations has to reflect these changes, and that is a must if the United Nations needs to be relevant, and of course it should be done.
Also, talking about counterterrorism measures, now India is now chairing the counterterrorism committee. What are some of the issues that are discussed there? Because we hear a lot on the fact that how some of the member countries do not talk about the concerns that India has as far as cross-border terrorism and other things are concerned, also in the Indian Ocean region. Were you able to have any kind of discussions on that?
Well, when it comes to terrorism, what we have to believe is that terrorism has no religion, no philosophy, no nothing except pure evil. And if we can't unite against evil at the United Nations, then I think we are not doing it properly. So I would suggest, I would recommend that countries give utmost priority to unite against this evil and defeat evil around the world.
Now, coming to India, Maldives bilateral ties. Maldives, your president was there earlier this month, and he also had a fruitful visit. You're looking towards the presidential elections next year, but this time the visit also talked about strengthening the defense and the security partnership more. What do you have to say to that?
Maldives India friendship is based on mutual trust, mutual recognition of the closeness, the affinity that we have between our two countries, and the relationship has thoroughly flourished during President Saleh's time since 2018. You would recall that he took office on 17th of November. He was in Delhi on 17th of December on a state visit, and Prime Minister Modi was there in Male on the 17th of November 2018 for President Saleh's inauguration. Prime Minister Modi took his first overseas visit after winning office for the second term to the Maldives. So this is how close the two leaders have been working with, and it is seen in the way in which the two countries have developed its friendship. So the agenda in front of us when it comes to bilateral relationship transcends all fields of cooperation, and we are seeing it grow from strength to strength.
But Mr. Shahid, you're well aware about the fact that while India also takes a lot of pride in having Maldives as its friendly neighbor, there is this concern of China all the time. I know you also have a good relationship, a cordial relationship with China, but how do you balance between the two? And going forward, do you think you'll be able to do that?
Well, Maldives has a good relationship with all countries, but we have a very special relationship with India, given the fact that the close affinity, and given the fact that every time we have had an emergency in the Maldives, India has been the first country to respond to. Naturally, it is the first country which could, and it has proven itself that it does take Maldives' concerns and emergencies into consideration. We recall 1998, November 3rd, when there was an armed attack on the Maldives by a group of mercenaries and terrorists. Immediate response from India, backed by the international community. 2004, the tsunami, when Indian ships sailed from Indian ports with the essential products to the Indian ocean territories of India. The same ships delivered the emergency supplies to the Maldives. 2015, the water crisis in Mali, again the same. During the pandemic, you would recall that the evacuation of our students from Wuhan, when everyone was removing at the middle of the COVID pandemic, when it began, Maldivian students were evacuated with the assistance of India to Delhi, quarantined in Delhi, and then delivered to the Maldives by India. During the COVID pandemic, the essential goods, essential services were rendered by India. Vaccine rollout in India, within 24 hours, we received the vaccines. We were able to create a bubble travel arrangement, assisting us to recover and regain our tourism industry. So these are things that the people of Maldives will not forget. There were special arrangements even during COVID for Maldivian patients to travel to India for medical emergencies. Medical supplies that we require were flown by Indian Air Force to the Maldives, delivered to the Maldives. So we would not forget. We will not forget the special relationship we have. At the same time, we will also continue to work with everyone, including China and many other countries who were also very generous in their assistance and cooperation.
But That's interesting what you said, and that's what Indians also believe in. But, for the last 1 year, we've been hearing this India Out campaign. I know the government in Maldives has taken some serious action banning those protests, yet they sort of continue. Why is that happening?
Well, it's been done by a group of opposition people who have nothing, no development agenda, no nothing, except create some fervor against our most closest friend and neighbor. It's a group of people who has nothing to offer to the people, so they have to come up with something.
And my last question, you're heading for presidential elections next year. What are your expectations? Are we going to see President Solih's administration coming back again?
Well, President Solih's administration, President Solih is going to get re-elected, and the people of Maldives receive his good work that has been done under his outstanding leadership.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shahid. That was Mr. Abdulla Shahid. He is the Foreign Minister of Maldives and also presently the President of the UNGA. You were watching the Print's YouTube channel. I am Nayanima Basu, and with me on camera is Urjita.